SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Hey, you know we have a live show on Friday?
What?
Yeah.
Where?
St. Catharines, baby.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. What?
We did a great job getting it in the last episode.
I know. I keep forgetting to put it in. We gotta put it in, man. Course and Clubhouse
for the extra.
Wellen Ave. Check it out. You can find it online. Actually, there will be a link to the description link in the description of this video, so you can buy tickets. Tickets are still available, and we're going to be premiering something called ODR Hockey Heroes, which is a video game from a developer who's actually just a listener of our show, and his Kickstarter starts this week, and we'll have more information on that a little bit later in the show, which we're very excited for. Now, listen, when it's a Sunday and Taylor Swift is at a Chiefs game watching Travis Kelce catch TDs in front of 65,000 people, and she's with his mom yelling, "Let's fucking go." She said that. She was like, "Let's fucking go."
She said that with her whole diaphragm.
What are you doing? That's right. You're watching preseason hockey, baby. Woo! Actually, you know, there's one thing I do want to talk about first before we get into the preseason hockey. Guys, how do you take your chicken fingers? What sauce do you put on them?
I mean, it completely depends on the establishment I'm at.
Okay. Well, go through your establishments.
Well, like, if I'm getting just like the store-bought frozen ones, like we're talking
Pub style President's Choice. Yeah.
We're talking probably like barbecue sauce.
Okay.
I like a little sriracha. But if I'm at Jack Astor's getting my adult order of chicken fingers and fries, I'm a Swiftie.
Yeah?
Hot damn, you got to put that in some ranch and live your best life.
Jesse, do you have the picture of Taylor Swift's chicken?
Throw it up there, Maddie.
Oh, it's not up there. Hang on. So the idea here is that we need to have a look at how Taylor Swift takes her chicken fingers.
She has exactly one chicken finger on her plate.
Right. Which is wrong.
Now there's a very important observation here. So she's got one chicken finger. It looks delicious, by the way. I would go to Kansas City just to have them. And then there is a dabbling of ketchup, clearly used.
Yep.
And a dabbling of ranch sauce. Now,
Do we know it's ranch?
We don't.
It looks like mayonnaise.
Don't.
It could be mayo. It could be ranch.
So here's what I was thinking, Jesse.
Could it be a garlic aioli?
It could be.
Yeah.
I thought she was trying to make fancy sauce, which would be mayo and ketchup. But as you can see, the ketchup and mayo have not touched. We need more investigation.
Right, and sometimes you would like dip one or the other and whatever, and then they cross, but you can't have that.
Swifties are going to give us the best coverage we've ever received in football.
She's way too type A, I think, to go mixing sauces. You make a choice, and you keep the plate looking good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Taylor Swift has an aesthetic, and it's part of her personality. It's part of why people love her. And I think that the idea that she would dip both ketchup and ranch on one, I think that would be too much.
What if she's absolute chaos and it's ranch on one side and ketchup on the other?
That would be great. Actually, it would taste delicious. Now, Swifties were tweeting about football yesterday, and this one is my favorite because they live for Taylor Swift. And here's a tweet from @HollyGroundSound. Football explainer for those confused. You have 4 tries, downs, to go 10 yards. If you keep the ball, the cycle repeats. And if you don't, the other team gets it. You could score touchdowns for 6 points or kick a field goal for 3 points. That's basically all you need to know. And the first response is, okay, but what's a down? Is it like dropping the ball?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think that's a good question. I think it's a good question.
If you've never watched football, by the way, everyone's clowning on these people. Like I saw that tweet.
Yeah.
That's a child. You know that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's not a 31-year-old who's like, just in case you don't know.
Yeah.
That is a 14-year-old person.
What if, guys, it's somebody who doesn't give a shit about football, too?
Or
it doesn't matter what they are. Maybe they just don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, look at this person trying to help people understand something. Fuck them.
Yeah, I don't
Stop it.
I had to explain all that stuff to Natalie when we went to the Steelers. It was mostly like, okay, the 49ers are doing this, and this is how they're going to dominate the Steelers, and there we go. But she didn't understand the 4 downs thing. She loves sports, but just never cared about
Football's
football.
not an easy game to pick up.
No,
casually.
no.
Basketball makes sense to anybody who's ever looked at anything. It's like, oh, you put the thing in there and you get 2 points. Football, there's so much complication and nuance to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not easy.
What I struggle with basketball is picking up a foul in real time. I have no idea.
Oh, what a foul is?
I have on the replay, I'm an expert,
Yeah.
but in real time, I have no friggin' clue.
I'm pretty sure
Sometimes the refs don't either.
No, they don't either. They're guessing.
I think there was a roughing the passer call or something like that.
I saw.
And it was like really difficult to explain that to Natalie of what the difference between an okay hit on the quarterback is and what it isn't. Because it is actually, when you, in your mind, for whatever reason, it makes sense, but breaking it down is actually kind of difficult.
If you think you know a sport, go to a game with someone who's watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
You'll discover you don't know nearly as much as you thought. I've told the story before. I went to a preseason Leafs Habs game with a family friend from Scotland.
Explain icing in one sentence. You can't.
It's difficult. Although I did have him understanding offside by the second period.
Well, that's good because offside's
Offside's easy.
Yeah,
It's in
I would say it's easier than most sports.
Yeah.
Or-
There's a clear line, and you understand like the puck needs to go in first, and everybody's got to be behind that.
There you go.
But there's other things that are a little more complicated.
I have a question, by the way. Remember how we all clowned on Sidney Crosby last week in Greg Wyshynski's article about bringing back the red line?
Yes.
I was thinking the other day. Now, I was high when I was thinking it. But wouldn't it be way better?
Good start.
Keep the blue lines there for color or whatever. Wouldn't it be way better to just bring the red line back and get rid of the blue lines?
Bring the red line back.
No offsides?
Only and make it a little more like just as a thought. There is offsides, but as soon as you cross the red line safely, the rink is yours.
How about no lines?
Well, I mean, no lines would be great too.
No lines.
They kind of do get in the way. There's a lot of whistles and shit, but
That's how you play ball hockey on like half size rinks.
Yeah.
Is when I played like with my friends and stuff, it's the red line is your offside line. So once you enter the zone, like that's your offside line. And then you have that whole area. But I don't think it works.
Well, I was thinking
the rink is too big.
It would stop the dumping and chasing because imagine you fire the puck from behind the red line and then have to skate 20 paces after it, right? Dumping and chasing is not easy at that point. You kind of have to it also gives these human beings who are getting bigger and bigger every year a little bit more space to breathe. Like you imagine a really spread out power play. Like watch a European game, right?
So here's what you need to do that the Swifties figured out.
What is it?
That was a long explanation.
You need to shorten it?
You have 280 characters. And if I don't understand by the end of those 280 characters, I'm not watching.
That's fair.
I'm not interested, Mr. Kelsey.
I think it's too much room.
You think so? Is it too much room?
Yeah, if they're the whole zone is from the red line in, I think it'd be a little too much.
Because European hockey can be a little like that, right? With the bigger rinks, it
With
can be a little too much
The
room.
giant on the sides where you're like, they look like little ants out there. When you watch European hockey, when you watch the Olympics, you're like, they're so tiny on this giant rink.
Go watch Bandy on ice. It doesn't.
I've seen that.
It doesn't look real.
No,
It's a football field made of ice. It does not look real at all.
it's horrendous. No.
You must be like, those are the best athletes in the world, and we just don't talk about them.
No.
Like to skate around on that and not die. Jesse's trying to find.
Oh, it's
look at
a good
that!
one. So they basically take a soccer field and they put ice on it, and they're playing hockey.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in red jerseys.
That was Matt Sundin's favorite game growing up. Was
Bandy,
Bandy.
yeah.
Loves Bandy. I would love to play
Did
it.
you say why is the net so big, Maddie? Yeah, it's like a half soccer net.
Yeah.
I love it.
And the stands are packed with people jacked to watch Bandy. Let's go. There's so many sports.
There are.
Mhm.
There are
There's
a lot
just
of
so many sports, and so many of them look awesome. And for some reason, we just ignore them.
Have you guys been like in on the pickleball craze that's happening with
I've never-
everybody
I've heard
everybody
it's fun.
over 40?
I've heard it's fun.
I don't know. It looks like a horrendous TV sport. Ever seen the ESPN?
Oh, I've never seen the sport.
They-
no,
they've
I thought it was just a
tried-
recreational
Dude,
thing.
it was on when we
Yeah.
were watching, when we were with John Boy.
Yeah.
They were watching pickleball.
They were trying
on
to
the
broadcast on the Ocho whenever ESPN's
Yeah.
hey, we need some extra content. And they tried like a weekend of pickleball, and it was horrendous television.
I bet it would
But
be
like,
bad.
it seems like everybody in North America who's over, I shouldn't say 40, maybe like over 50 is into pickleball right now.
Keep hearing good things about pickleball, guys. Listen.
That's why they started
We're only 15
broadcasting
years away
cornhole.
from 50, Steve. We better start picking up pickleball. You start joining the seniors tournaments.
All right. Whoever needs knee replacement first
That's right.
loses.
That's right. Listen, the Leafs did play yesterday against the Ottawa Senators, and
They won.
if you there's one thing you can't dissuade me of after watching that game, the 1 point, gentlemen, that I will remain unmoved on.
Tim Stützle should have taken less.
No, it's that Keith Petruzzelli will not be the Leafs starter this year.
I know.
I'm convinced of it.
I
now.
was devastated
Yeah,
to find
me
that
too.
out.
Good.
I have to be honest with you. Watching the game, and I watched it this morning, it's like you don't really learn that much, except for William Nylander at center was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting, and he did fine. I mean, that's all you're really looking for, right? And like you're looking for your NHL regulars should look like NHL regulars. And you're looking for like a few minor leaguers to surprise.
I'm going to ask you guys a very important question.
Get us.
What did you learn from last year's preseason?
That's so funny.
Nothing.
Last
It
year,
means
I'm trying
nothing.
to remember what happened.
All of
last
these games are useless unless you're a head coach or an assistant coach on these teams.
I don't remember a single thing. I don't like from last year's preseason.
Nothing.
Nothing interesting has ever happened in the preseason except for
can't.
David
Clarkson.
Clarkson and Phil Kessel, and that was a million years ago.
Jonathan Bernier fought Ryan Miller.
Yeah, but these aren't like things you take away from the game that are like, you know what?
We have a tough goalie.
We learned.
Yeah. I mean, you learn guys can hang. Like I remember, like you can earn a spot. It's rare, but you can earn a spot. Like I remember, Jay Rosehill. He fought every damn preseason game, maybe twice, and it's like he's gonna punch his way into the lineup, and then he did. And I'm pretty sure they had both him and Orr at the same time. Might have been a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
But it is possible, but like the rookie tournament is bad hockey.
Mm-hmm.
The first preseason game is not a whole hell of a lot better. It's a bit better, but it's
Still fun to watch that there's a game on.
well, it's also it's nice that there's a game on. I like that it was on during the day and my son can go, "Oh, holy shit, there's hockey on." I'm usually asleep by 7. But it's just I don't know.
The Leafs roster tonight will be Bruzzese, Bertuzzi, Blandisi, Cowan, Gregor, Holmberg, Kampf, Marner, Matthews, O'Brien, Reeves, Robertson, and Tivberg?
Dverberg.
Dverberg,
Well,
okay. He'll play again for sure.
Dverberg. You know what's funny? I've never really had to say the name out loud.
See?
I only
Dverberg.
read it.
I've read it, but I've never actually had to pronounce it.
I think it's actually Twerberg.
Noah Chadwick, Mark Giordano, John Klingberg, Mikko Kokkonen, Jake McCaig, Topi Miemela, Matteo Petrorino. Is that how you say it? How do you say it?
Let me see.
Petrorino?
Petronero.
Whatever. And then Marshall Riffel. I don't know. Guys, listen. I mean, you got some names that could make it. Nick Robertson is, I think, the one you're watching for to be like, oh, could he make it? Easton Cowan, I'm interested in. What's he look like amongst men, even though we know he's going back to London?
And it'll be cool to watch him, one, because it's a first impression, and two, he has 0% chance of playing like even in the minors this year.
No, he's a CHL guy for sure.
Yeah, and like the London Knights are probably gonna make it too far for him to even have a cup of coffee with the Marlies at the end of the year. So he's gonna have his 1 or 2 games. He's gonna play his ass off, and he's gonna get sent back. So,
Right.
If anyone's gonna try their absolute hardest, it's gonna be him.
Mm-hmm. Should be fun to watch. That is tonight at 7:00 versus Ottawa.
I will say it is weird that teams arrange it so that like the Sens won yesterday because they should have.
Yeah.
And the Leafs ought to win this game because, I mean, look at the lineup. The Leafs had one NHL line yesterday, and they're going to have, well, more than that. Anyway.
Tim Stützle looked good, though.
It's funny how
It's weird how a good
completely
player looks good.
effortlessly good Stützle looks in a preseason game and Nylander looks in a preseason game. Like they were both completely effortless and just fuck, what a bullet from Stützle.
Yeah.
Both of those shots were unfair.
Oh yeah.
It's
100%.
It's exactly what I said about Bedard from the rookie tournament game. I'm sorry, you don't have a chance.
Jesse, did you make time in your absolutely crazy football schedule? And by the way, one of Jesse's fantasy players got 45 points.
Yeah, I had
today.
Raheem Mostert.
I had
Awesome.
my entire team had 55.
Adam's the Anaheim Ducks of our league.
Oh, it's terrible. I sat Tank Deli at 23 points.
He's behind me.
Yeah.
It's even Steve has a
Bad.
win. We're 2 weeks in, and Adam's only one of 2 teams that are 0-2.
Man, you know who's killing me? It's Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. I honestly expected more. I think I'm gonna have to drop Breece Hall. Like I'm gonna have to get rid of him.
Oh,
Don't
man.
do that. Don't do that.
Because
Do it. I'm probably high in the
Dude, he
draft order.
stinks, man. He's terrible right now. It's because he's
do
injured.
that.
He's injured, but still, I'm in trouble.
Julian is kicking my ass.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was him until today.
Michael Andlauer, the new owner 5 days ago of the Ottawa Senators.
You were going to ask me something.
Oh, I was going to ask you something. Did you make time in your schedule for the Leafs preseason game?
No.
Okay.
Dear God, no.
And
There's a full slate of NFL football, plus the Blue Jays were playing at 1:00.
and they won.
Yeah, that was a good
Third game in a row.
Yeah. No, they lost on Saturday.
Oh, they lost Saturday.
Yeah.
But still, they never beat Tampa. It's amazing.
You would know they lost Saturday if you listen to the Jesse Blake
awful.
Sports Report.
Yeah, they hadn't won a series in Tampa since 2021.
Oh my
It's been
God.
What?
almost full 2 seasons. They won on the road in Tampa series. Yeah, they struggle at Tropicana, and they have historically. And yeah,
'Cause it's
been
the
been a
depressing
long
shithole?
time. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is mentally about every single Blue Jays team that can't win at Tropicana. But
Yeah, it's always been that way.
yeah,
Even when the Rays were bad. Question though, you had an episode come out 2 weeks ago, I think, when I think the Jays season was at its worst when they got booed off or whatever, and you're like, both Schneider and Ross Atkins have to go.
It's Jover.
yeah.
Do you still believe that?
It's funny you say it was 2 weeks ago. It was 8 days ago.
8 days ago.
Wow.
It feels like a
It does.
lifetime ago based on how they've played since. But yeah, 8 days ago, they got swept by the Texas Rangers in a 4-game series where they were fighting for their playoffs lives, and it was embarrassing. And
Killed in all the games.
and depending on how the season ends, like obviously if they win the World Series, I don't think John Schneider should be fired or anything like that. But like based on how he's managed right now, yeah, I think he should go. He's been awful in game management. Like you affect the game so little as a baseball manager because you're not drawing up plays, you're not doing anything like that, and your role is you set the lineup, you set the pitching rotation, you call who comes in and out of the pen, like when you need a reliever, and that's kind of it. And his decision making in terms of who needs to be in the lineup and when to pinch hit and all those little things, he's been terrible at it consistently.
David Schneider not starting every game for a while, especially when he was hot. It's wild.
At the beginning when now I think he's 0 for his last 30 at bats.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't put him in the lineup for the first week when he was reincarnation of Babe Ruth in his prime, and it was ridiculous. And Saturday there was a giant blunder where he left in an injured Jordan Romano to finish out the game, and obviously an
How are you
injured
risking
pitcher,
your closer?
an injured
This
pitcher
late in the season?
isn't going to be good, and he allowed the winning run to come home.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you cough up that game, but like, what if you win? He's still hurt.
Yeah,
Your closer.
yeah.
You can't have your closer be hurt and have any aspirations of trying to win anything.
And they had a lefty in the pen. His name's Tim Meza, and he's great against left-handed hitters. And up at the plate was a lefty. And John Schneider decided, hey, I'm going to leave in my closer who has a broken fingernail and he can't grip the ball well, instead of bringing in the lefty who is going to get out this lefty. And it was terrible. And yeah, the dude probably shouldn't be managing the Jays next year.
I know there's a big contingent of people who think analytics have ruined baseball, and maybe there are some things that analytics have made difficult for baseball, but it seems like it just helps you see what the obvious decision is. And a lot of managers seem to go out of their way to be like, no, I am smarter than the information.
Well,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would say the problem with the analytics and the Jays thing is that's what's driving a lot of their decisions, and the decisions have been the wrong ones.
What?
The Jays are
Don't
very
play
analytically
hurt
driven.
players.
Yeah.
I don't know if the numbers are gonna. I don't know how that's gonna be represented.
Yeah, but they
it's
did.
just called common sense.
Yeah.
They still did. Yeah.
Just
right.
don't do it.
Yeah, I think it's more like
You can't blame the numbers for that. That's on you, dummy.
I think
you doing?
there is analytics are, you should be listening to them, but I think when you have a player who's hot, it doesn't make sense analytically. You kind of have to. That's where the human decision comes in, where it's like it's a gut call.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now playing a guy hurt before the playoffs is stupid, especially a closer. But all that is to say, I think that I think Jesse's onto something, but I think that a lot of people are blaming the analytics department of the Blue Jays. Here's the other problem: is there's tons of data out there. How do you synthesize that? And it's all in your perspective on how to look at the numbers. And that can be the problem too. So a lot of people will be like, oh, they're a fancy stats team and they suck this year. And they didn't think that they would. So the analytics are bad. No, it could just be that the people didn't read the data properly and didn't use it to their best effect.
I'm trying to think of like instances in sports where a guy just got hot. And if in 2006, someone were to go up to the coach of the Sharks and be like, what are you playing Chi-Chu with Thornton for? Get him off.
Take
him off
that year.
He got 56.
Yeah.
56 goals for Jonathan.
And then I think
Chi-Chu.
it was in Russia within 3 years.
It's crazy. I mean, he hurt his knees, but he was
unreal.
He was like, I don't know, like 8 goals behind Jágr heading into like the final 45 days of that season. And he smoked him because he couldn't be stopped. But what if, we're not supposed to have Chi-Chu up there.
Yeah, that's
Get him down.
Yeah, anyway.
He's not going to shoot that percentage forever.
Can I ask you guys a question about the Blue Jays as
Give it to
more
me.
casual baseball fans?
Yeah.
Where has the Blue Jays sat in your sports fandom this summer in terms of like, hey, I'm watching a game, or they're just on your radar and when you're looking at sports news and that sort of stuff and you're following the team?
I've actually watched quite a bit of Jays this summer. It's just it's too many games, man.
Yeah.
It's just there is no point watching every baseball game. Like, I want to talk to someone who watches. Like, do you
There are
watch
lots.
every Jays?
No, I'm not an 162er,
That's crazy.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of people who are.
but there are people.
There are people who, like, imagine having seasons tickets. To make that make sense, you need to be at, I think, at least half the games. Maybe you're selling half of them, but
81.
there are people with that's what they do. That's
Yeah.
their family activity. A lot of people have like they go on a vacation, or they have a cottage, or they rent a cottage, or whatever they do. A lot of people when you go down there, and I remember this because I did go to 40 games one year, and because my girlfriend at the time had free tickets, I didn't have the money to go to 40 freaking games, but you realize that it's the same families are there every single night.
Adam, do you like me?
I like you a lot.
Would you go get coffee with me?
Of course.
What if I was like, Adam, I like you. We should go get coffee. What would you say?
I'd say let's do it.
Oh, what if I finish my sentence? Adam, we should get coffee 81 times this summer.
I'd be like, I got to see my family at some point. I would assume our kids would come with us, right?
No, they're not allowed.
I mean, there's a bit of a false equivalency there.
Yeah,
right,
I don't know if this analogy is the
No,
same.
it's exact. It's perfect.
I don't know.
You know,
Perfect.
but we're not used to that because we live in Toronto and everything is really expensive, and Leafs tickets are crazy. But it is like that for hockey in other cities, where it's like you go. Like my grandfather had Flame seasons tickets from game 1 until he physically could not go anymore, and that was over 30 years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he had 4 seats for the first 20 years, and every single night he and my grandmother were there with another couple or one of the kids or whatever. And then he dialed it back to 2 because people people weren't coming, his daughters had moved away, like whatever else it was. And I think in Pittsburgh he used to go to the 70s Penguins. Can you imagine?
Powder blue
all the time. And I think that's the thing, is that like we don't get that with the Leafs because that's not available. It's a premium seat. But in a lot of places, and in the past, a lot of people would just go it and make it their thing, and you go 40 times because you paid for the tickets.
I have a guy who I buy Raptors tickets off of,
Mhm.
and I don't think I've ever sat next to the same people twice.
Well,
Like,
wow.
they're-
that
these
guy
seats
sounds
are-
like he's just making a business.
Yeah.
Well, he is, but I think everyone around him is as well.
Yeah.
They're good seats, like
Yeah.
decent. They're not courtside or anything. One day, I just want to be stupid and like forget that budgets exist, and I'm just be
I
like,
would also like
one
to
day
make
I'm
that
going to
kind of
die.
money.
I'm going to sit courtside.
Oh, of course that would be awesome.
Courtside, I have
Yeah.
sat courtside.
Have you?
You sat courtside?
Regular
Time.
season?
One
Yeah.
time. My mom got tickets through work, and it was a regular season game, and it was Toronto versus Chicago. It was right after. No, it was right after the Jordan stuff.
Oh.
It was like Kirk Heinrich was their big point guard at the time.
Yeah.
But you know who
You
was sitting
paid premium to watch Tony Kukoc?
Yeah, he was there too. The guy sitting next to us, though, no, it was after Kukoc, but anyway, Matt Stajan.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
Matt Stajan was like a rookie, and his girlfriend, who went to like Western University or something, was there, and I would have been 10. Yeah, it was, or 12 or whatever it was. It was, and he was very, very nice.
And you didn't appreciate it.
I didn't. Well, I appreciated Matt Stajan. I appreciated
That's
Matt
true.
Stajan more than I did the Raptors at that point.
Dude, I remember going to a Leaf game tickets that we got from a neighbor, and we got those seats where the wait staff comes to you and takes your order.
Oh yeah,
And I was just like, we're rich. Like,
pretty cool.
We're rich. We are rich people. Right now. Yeah.
And just the reason I asked the question is like next week we're gonna be sitting here at this time. The Jays are gonna be in the playoffs.
I'll be watching
playoff
every minute.
games, and I'm about probably. I don't know. After the hockey season ends, I probably catch like 100 baseball games a year. But like, it feels like now, yeah, it's a lot. Maybe like 90. I don't know. It feels like now there was just a slow build where nobody kind of cared about the Jays throughout the summer, but now they're kind of building some momentum in the market, and we're gonna lead up to the playoffs, and people are starting to because
they're hitting.
People here
They're hitting.
love the Jays.
Yes.
When the Jays are on it, they're as popular as any Toronto sports team going. You know, so I feel like there's kind of some momentum now, and when they hit the playoffs next week, there's gonna be something. But people also dislike the entire team for the entire summer.
So
And that's
we
really
were
difficult.
during 15 and 16. These are two big years for Toronto because after the World Series wins in 92 and 93, the Jays didn't make the playoffs until 2015. So it was a long drought.
Madness. Yeah.
And madness in retrospect. But baseball only allowed like 8 teams in, which is also stupid.
Yeah.
So
And they were in the best division.
yeah, it was a joke. They should have made it 1 billion times. But they, what I remember about that was, we were all 3 of us so integrated at Rogers at that point. You were at Sportsnet, Jesse and I were at KISS. And I remember like they'd have like Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter and all these alumni come through on breakfast television and talking about the Jays and what do they need to do tonight and whatever. And I can remember behind the scenes, the producers were like, the Jays winning is so big that the Rogers stock is up because of it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like the entire company, which is worth $30 billion, was because of the Blue Jays.
Do you remember the ratings?
The ratings were
Because we get our ratings
there was
report.
like 8 million people watching. It was just
Yeah, even
million.
Yeah, well,
For-
the Batfleck game especially was
for the
crazy.
fan, for even the fan, because we get our ratings every quarter for when we're at KISS, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a competition anymore because the fan, like I don't remember what number they hit.
We
but-
got fucked in the afternoon.
yeah,
because we're the afternoon show, and the afternoon, like your morning drive is in pop radio. Your morning drive is your most important show. Traditionally, in sports radio, your afternoon show is your most important show because it leads into the game. And we were the afternoon show, so we're the second show on the totem pole. And the fan was just fucking. They were wiping the floor with us. And I'm talking. Our key demographics were like women 25 to 54. Nobody was listening.
No.
I hope the station spent a lot of money on consultants to figure out why you were losing.
Oh, they did.
yeah.
They did.
Fuck off.
Yeah, they did.
Typically, the fan will have like
Thieves.
a 1 or a 2 rating,
Yes.
and that like month when the Jays were in the playoffs, they had like a 30.
Yeah.
It
And
was
we
it
would
was
be at
unreal.
like we'd be like 12, 13 normally. We're down at like a 3. It was crazy.
They took all of everything.
Yes.
Like the Jays were the only thing going for like that entire month. It was awesome.
It was cool. And now, so Jesse, to answer your question about the where do they rate in my sort of
Yeah, like next week
Yeah.
you're gonna have a jersey on.
yeah,
And I'll
100%.
come in
And
here.
I've got my jersey, and I've got like for me in the summertime, Formula One is number 1, but it's a lot less of a commitment. I watch every single race.
Yeah.
I watch every qualifying. I'm starting to watch every practice. I just love it.
F1's got that NFL thing where you can just tune in 2 days a week. You know?
That's right.
It's awesome.
So it's not a huge commitment, but I have watched it a lot and a lot more now because I'm surrounded by passionate Jays fans. My mother-in-law is a Jays fan, like ardently. We'll leave, like so they have a cottage, and in the summertime it'll be like 4 in the afternoon, and it's a Saturday and it's sunny and gorgeous, and she's like, I'm gonna go upstairs and watch Jays game. Like because it's that much to her. But what's hilarious about watching with her is it's like watching with Steve when the Leafs like so when the Jays go through an inning, just one inning, and they don't hit a home run or they don't get to, she like gets up and walks around. She gets upset. Like every inning, she lives
Playoff
and
baseball's
dies by
torture.
every inning.
Playoff
Amazing.
baseball is
Oh, yeah.
absolute torture.
Oh, it's
And I say that as someone who covers the Leafs for a living.
Yeah.
Like playoff baseball is hard.
well. Remember last year? It was fucking
Oh.
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
8-1. I'm like,
Oh, God.
we were drunk at the cottage at Thanksgiving, going, "This is gonna be great."
they were up. I want to say they had the Mariners had come back like 1 or 2 runs.
Yeah.
And I left to go meet my friends, and like by the time I sat down in my seat, it was tied.
Oh.
So you
I
guys
had-
suck.
I had tickets to game 3, and
Ah!
when they're up 8-1, I started making plans with my sister. I was like, okay, we need to take the train at this time, meet up and everything, and then we're just slowly watching them demolish. It was terrible.
I was listening to game 1 on the radio because we had just moved into our new house. I was hanging up all the stuff on the wall in the blue room, and it's like, all right, let's go Blue Jays. And Manoah steps up to the mound, and it is high, it is far, it is gone. The Blue Jays are down, and I'm like, okay, all right, great.
I remember too, a couple of years ago, I think it was the COVID year where they surprised and then they got in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What pissed me off about that, and this is where the analytics for the Blue Jays drives me crazy. They saved their Cy Young award-winning pitcher, Hyun-Jin Ryu, for game 3, and they didn't fucking make it to game 3.
Yeah.
Make it to game 3, you morons, you idiots, right? That's like being like, you know what, Austin? We're going to play you like 10 minutes in game 1 and 2. We really need you to come on strong in 3-4.
Yeah.
You know, like just assuming that there's going to be it. It's
You gotta
ridiculous.
catch them
Yeah.
off guard.
They haven't won a playoff game since 2016 because they were swept last year and they were swept the year before. You know, it's been a long time since they've won a playoff.
Oh, man,
game.
you're right.
Yeah,
When
last-
was the game when was Encarnacion bat flip against Baltimore?
That was
2016?
Jesse
Damn
was there.
it.
Yeah, I was there for that
He was
one.
at
That was
that
a good
game.
one.
You lucky son
Natalie
of a
was
gun.
at the bat flip game.
Hey, that's awesome.
She was actually there for it. She's like,
Yeah.
when she talks about it, she's like, we were legitimately afraid that there was going to be. She's like, we didn't know that we'd be able to get out safely. She's like, so when he did hit the home run, everybody was like, oh, thank God, because no one's going to die tonight.
People thought beers at babies.
Yeah.
Like,
How good was Zach Britton that night?
what do you mean?
The pitcher for the Orioles.
Not great.
Yeah, they didn't fucking use him.
Oh,
that?
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Again.
All right. Rank it. Overtime. No, you guys don't have to apologize for anything.
All
today.
right, right.
Rank it. Overtime,
Mhm.
playoff, game-winning goal. Obviously, it's the goal in overtime is game-winning.
Mhm.
Walk-off home run.
Oh,
Damn.
Bottom of the 9th, playoff game.
Or extra innings. Yeah.
Buzzer beater. NBA game. 0 seconds on the shot clock.
so like
Or on the shot.
Kawhi shot.
Kawhi shot. Yeah, you win. Let's say in all of these you win the series as well. And then in football, you get a 0 seconds field goal, nothing left on the clock, and he walks off. The kicker walks off with a field goal.
Field goal sucks.
I like
Sucks. It's got to be touchdown.
No, because it'll rarely happen though. Well, I guess it'll happen like that.
I've seen a
In
touchdown in overtime.
What
overtime touchdown,
percent
but-
of field goals miss?
It depends on where you're kicking, how far you're kicking.
Well, this is okay, so how long is the field goal?
Let's say it's a 55-yarder.
Okay,
Yeah,
know.
it's
Interesting.
it's
You
just
made it interesting.
Justin Tucker from 60. You know
I think what matters is like
how you ranking them.
because the context beforehand matters. Part of what made Batista's bat flip home run so crazy was the hour beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a walk.
It wasn't a walk-off.
And it wasn't a walk-off.
Yeah.
You're right. The Edwin one was, right?
Edwin was a walk-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the next
and I saw once, like in a random regular season game, I saw Raul Mondesi walk it off with a grand slam.
Oh, shit.
It was 4-4, bottom of the ninth, bang, gone. That was cool. But I have to say, I've been lucky enough to see all of those things live. And the biggest pop I've ever experienced was Gary Roberts against the Ottawa Senators in triple overtime. So I'm going to go with that just because my personal experience dictates that. Also, fuck Ottawa. I'm kidding. But yeah, winning the playoffs, you bums.
And 2, 3, and 4?
2, 3, and 4. I've never been there for. Okay, we'll go. I've seen a buzzer beater.
Mhm.
Rudy Gay when he was with the Raptors.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was a Rudy Gay buzzer beater. So I'm gonna say I am gonna say baseball and then basketball. And football's fun and exciting, but you almost most of the time can feel it happening. You almost feel like it's almost like a. Do you know what I'm saying? Like certain things, like a goal in hockey is a surprise.
Comes out of nowhere.
Football, it's like I worked my way down the field and I feel like I'm gonna.
Yeah, we're on the 30. We're getting in the position.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But you don't get the pop.
Basketball's crazy though when you do see it. It's crazy.
Hockey overtime first, walk off home run second. Does it have to be a home run?
It does.
I mean, home runs.
It's the best. This is the best one.
There's the build up to. It's the crack of the bat. Everyone stands up if they're not already standing, and you wait to see if it made it out. The period of time between unless you're Kawhi Leonard, when the ball leaves your hands, you like my form. When the ball leaves your hands.
No, show everybody again. You know what you're doing?
Why are you?
You're doing the Lady Gaga from the music video.
Bad Romance.
Yeah, Bad Romance.
Why are you shooting with your left hand? That's the guiding hand. No, you don't. You don't shoot with. You shoot like that. Yeah, but you don't move this hand. You're doing.
I'm not holding the ball. It's hard. I'm not a good pantomime.
Caught in a Bad Romance.
She is a very good artist. Imitation is flattery. Hockey overtime, walk off, buzzer beater. The football kick, it's a fucking kick. Like,
if it's a touch,
it's still a kick.
Still a kick. Yeah.
I don't care if it's far. It's a kick.
Jesse, what about you?
I think the pop in baseball is the biggest. Like overtime is so dramatic and it comes out of nowhere. But I think the crack of the bat and when you see it and when it's a no doubter, I think that's the biggest. And it's 50,000 people.
You saw Bautista.
No, I saw Edwin.
Oh, you saw? I thought you were
Natalie. We were Natalie.
Oh, my bad. My bad. But like, wait, weren't you there for Kawhi shot?
I was there for Kawhi shot. Yeah, I was up in the. So there's what is it? The 600 level.
I remember your Insta story.
Yeah,
and you think Edwin was louder than Kawhi?
Yeah,
more people.
No, the way
the people.
Adam's right about the buildup. Basketball has that too, where it's if it's tied. You know that this thing is happening now.
Right.
Baseball, it comes out of nowhere. Same with hockey. That's why I think they're my 1-2. But I think the pop is bigger in baseball. And I got second. I got OT winner. And then basketball. Because, usually you're doing the inbound pass and there's 5 seconds left and you know the shot's coming and this could be it. Right. I like any moment, this next pitch could be the end of it.
Yeah.
That's so cool to me. And so I'll go basketball third. And then I think we all agree on the kicker thing.
Yeah, the kicker. Baseball is crazy because nothing is over until quite literally it's over. I know that sounds like a cliche and it is, but the thing about baseball is it is nail biting till the last out. There is no dead space.
18 inning game.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man! Like it's not over.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
I stayed for every.
This past weekend, the Cincinnati Reds were up 8-0 or something, and they lost.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was awful.
Yes.
Anyways,
AG1. It's green, and it'll make you lean and mean.
Well, you don't have to be mean.
You don't have to be mean. No.
It'll make you lean and nice.
Jesse's not mean. Jesse drinks it every day.
It doesn't make you lean.
It makes you lean and good at production.
Gives you all the vitamins and nutrients that you need for the day to get going.
To be lean and mean.
That's not.
I wasn't suggesting weight loss. What I was suggesting is you're fired up. You're ready to go.
You can be healthy and nice.
Behind you.
How about that?
Listen.
Healthy and nice. It doesn't rhyme.
You guys need to take your AG1 before these ad reads.
Okay, fine.
Healthy and wealthy.
It is a nutritional supplement, and AG1 is one of those things that is it's a daily nutritional supplement that your body will love. Jesse, you feel better when you drink it versus when you don't.
100%.
So if you want to try it out, if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/STP. That's drinkag1.com/STP. Check it out.
Be healthy and nice.
This episode is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Now, listen, we talk about therapy We've talked about it a few times on the show, and everybody goes through moments in their lives where therapy can be of help. But the problem is, and what holds a lot of people back, is access. And it's not just because it's not available. Sometimes it's because the method in which it is available makes them uncomfortable, or with your schedule, maybe you're too busy.
Or cost.
Cost is a thing too. So the great thing about BetterHelp is you're able to sign yourself up, and within 48 hours, you're going to be matched with somebody. Now, if you don't vibe with them, if it's not, I've had a therapist before where it was like, not feeling it here.
Isn't working.
It's difficult to switch normally. With BetterHelp, it's not. You can switch with somebody. Makes you feel more comfortable.
It's like dating. You
Yeah.
gotta find your person.
Yes, exactly. There you go. And then you can make yourself the best version of your person.
There you go.
Haha.
Yeah.
So it's available, obviously, on video. It's available on text. There's plenty of ways that you can meet, and you should check it out right now. And we want you to try it. So get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/STP to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/STP. Michael Andlauer was making the rounds on Ottawa media this morning. So
remember you tried to start this 20 minutes ago?
yeah, it's okay.
30.
Doesn't matter.
30?
Steve, I want to start with this quote because you had a field day with it. He said, Shane Pinto situation is a unique one. I don't know the last time Ottawa was at the salary cap. In talking to the players, we want to get Shane Pinto signed. We put ourselves in a pickle with the salary cap, so I guess it's to be continued.
A pickle. You know what's funny, Adam? I didn't have a field day with that. I had a field day with the fact that they can't afford Matthew Joseph.
Well, Matthew Joseph might be the guy they got to get rid of.
They can't keep Matthew Joseph. They can't sign Shane Pinto. You know, if only Tim Stützle had taken less.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need $10 million to play hockey. Why would he take $8? Clearly doesn't need that either.
Where did 835 come from? Is that your junior number or something? Why not just 8? That's not enough?
I guess it isn't.
Tim? You should have signed for 67 mil. Oh, wait, no, that'd be more. Yeah, I thought he was at 68. You should have signed for, I don't know, 50. You should have signed for, what, you can't get by on 10? 10 mil over 8 years. You can't make that, you can't stretch that out? Selfish. Selfish.
I'm looking at the parts of their salaries that they're going to have to get off of the roster. Matthew Joseph or Dominik Kubalik. Mm-hmm. This feels a bit self-inflicted because I guess they had to trade DeBrincat to Detroit because he wouldn't go anywhere else. But like they brought Dominik Kubalik in. Is that the piece that they had to take?
I saw someone like, well, why don't they just get rid of Kubalik? It's like, well, no, they just got him.
Well, I know, but Matthew Joseph has 3 more years. He's 26 and he's making 2.95. Come on, like you shouldn't get rid of that guy.
He was their key return for Nick Paul.
Yeah. And
you're gonna I'd ditch Kubalik before him.
So
they didn't sign Kubalik. He was in the DeBrincat trade. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Just 2.5 for 1 more year.
I mean, but the reason he was in that trade is it's going to be difficult to move him. He's like a power play specialist.
I'm so confused how a team like Ottawa gets into salary cap trouble. You know, it feels like they have such a young core and everything seems manageable, and they haven't been going for it necessarily in the last couple of years.
They don't really have.
There's no big albatrosses on their lineup, but they're in trouble. And I guess it's because like the deals like Artem Zub making 4.6 and the Chikrin 4.6, and they'll just add up.
The buyout money. Hold on though, they've got $1.5 million detained dead cap on Matt Murray, and then they bought out Bobby Ryan's last year, Colin White, and Michael Del Zotto. All that adds up to $3.45 million.
Damn,
it's not backbreaking,
but that's Shane Pinto's money.
Yeah.
Also, like, okay. Colin White, $875,000 against the cap this year. Mm-hmm. $625,000 in cap relief next year. Then it's back to an $875 cap hit.
Why does any of that make sense?
Who the fuck came up with that?
Stupid.
Who was like, this is the way to do it? Knock it off.
Brandon Pridham, actually.
I know. We
should talk to him about that.
Stop.
Also, if Shane Pinto can't get signed, I look at a guy like Josh Bailey who played yesterday, and I go, how is he going to fit in there? And I wonder if it's just he gets an audition here and then is able to move elsewhere.
I feel like they got him to sign him.
It feels like they did.
With what money?
Well, isn't that the problem? If only.
And again, this is not a problem next year. Not a problem next year, but it's a flat cap.
Yeah, they really don't have like shitty contracts.
And Josh Norris isn't listed on the screen right now, but he's 7.9 or 7.5.
7.95.
Yeah.
Like even like I know people don't love Travis Hamonic, like 1.1.
But then you go out and you do the Tarasenko thing, give him $5 million. Like it's gonna be great. It's gonna fit in the lineup. But that $5 million would be nice.
Yeah, no, like they spent this summer too. You're right. They went out and they got Tarasenko. Who else did they get? They got they got Jacob Chikrin
the goalie.
last year.
The goalie.
They signed Eunice Korpisalo.
Yeah. Corpusalo, $4 million.
I think, and I don't think Korpisalo's deal is bad. Like, I don't think any of the deals they have are bad.
That's the thing.
No.
Nothing.
Where did the money go?
The reason they're in a bit of a,
I think it's the dead cap.
The reason it's definitely the dead cap. The reason they're in a bit of a pickle is I read something, I can't remember where it was from, where they're like, yeah, they might have to get rid of Matthew Joseph, and they're looking for a first-round pick in return. You need to dump a contract because you're in cap trouble and you want a first-round pick? I don't give a shit who you're offering me.
I think
you're the one who's fucked.
You'd be better to put Kubalik on waivers. He would for sure pass through because nobody's got the space.
Maybe that's the plan.
And then you bury half of the contract because you can bury up to 1.35, I think. So
I feel like I read they changed how that works. I'm not totally sure.
Man,
it's impossible to follow.
Like,
it's impossible to follow.
Come on.
I know.
Anyway, I'd love to know. So that was the first thing.
Giroux's on a good deal.
On spending to the cap, here's what Michael Andlauer had to say, because this is what Sens fans have wanted for a long, long time. He said spending to the cap, quote, has to be sustainable. He told the players they have to have success if they want fans to come. He said, I don't pay the players, the fans pay the players, which is true because he's bought the business. Now the business has to run itself, right?
Basically, if you guys stink, I ain't spending money.
Yeah, which is it's sort of a weird thing to say because, first off, you're already committed to spending money, man. All the contracts are signed. The other thing is, if you're not good and you stop spending money, usually you get worse.
No, you get Connor Bedard.
And Lauer says on TSN 1200, this is from Bruce Garriak, to Pierre Dorion, I hold you accountable. You pick the coach. It's not for me to decide. He wants to be involved, but how about this, Sens fans? Wants to allow employees to make decisions so they can be held accountable for them.
That talk about playing the hits.
He's just coming out there and going, I'm going to just let people do their thing.
Don't worry. I'm not like the last guy.
And then here's the great thing. You want to talk about playing the hits? Daniel Alfredsson's name came up.
Hey.
Daniel Alfredsson has always been a Senator, according to Michael Andlauer. He has, except for that one time he wasn't. He's the greatest Sen of all time. In speaking to him, he's expressed a desire to come back. That was music to my ears. It's only natural to have him. It's what fits. It's like a day 3 but he's like, it's day 3 or 4 on the job for me.
Listen, like you don't want to stuff your front office with former players necessarily.
Makes you the Flyers.
And the Oilers.
It makes you a lot of teams around the NHL. But there are some players who matter more than others. This is why I've been hammering the Lightning for the Steven Stamkos stuff. They cannot have a fractured relationship with that player. It is bad for the team. It is bad for morale. It is bad for the franchise. The Leafs had it for a very long time with Dave Keon. One of the best things Brendan Shanahan did since coming on board was repairing that relationship. Mm-hmm. And the Senators have it with Daniel Alfredsson. It got ugly, and his absence has been felt, I think, by that team and by that fan base. So they got to repair that and get him involved.
On the arena downtown that has been rumored for 10 years now, Ann Lauer told Ottawa Morning, again, this is a tweet from Bruce Garriak, it's a no-brainer. He said the private-public partnership in Edmonton is a good model. He's not sure if that'll be the case here in Ottawa. And the estimated cost, this is what he said, is somewhere, and he's like ballparking it here, so don't hold him to it, but he said it has to make economic sense, should be about $900 million. I don't know what it's going to take, and he said, I know there's a desire. It has to be win-win-win, and he said it's not just the arena. You have to build a community around it.
Yep.
If you want a blueprint, by the way, if you care about this stuff, Detroit's a really great example. I don't think everybody loves the political setup because I think it's like tax-free or super reduced taxes for like 50 years or something. But essentially, they built Little Caesars and they built a community around it. And they had the leverage to do that in Detroit because if people remember, Detroit had just declared bankruptcy. And so the Ilitch family, based out of Detroit, went to them and said, we need to revitalize the downtown. Everybody's leaving. Therefore, you don't have a tax base. And I remember it was so bad at the time they were shutting off water to certain neighborhoods because they could not afford to keep it going. And so the Ilitch family said, listen, if we got to bring people back, the only way to do that is to have a reason to come back. And so they built the arena, they built the community around it, there's shops and everything. And that has sort of been the start of the revitalization of Detroit. So the idea is not that Ottawa needs a revitalization downtown. It's if you ask people in Ottawa, it's a little sleepy there sometimes. A lot of people go, we've always had a good time, but I think when you live there,
I love it there.
I think Hull is the people go if you want some seedy fun. Gatineau. But yeah, I think that Ottawa could use a little bit of some spice downtown, more than just the Byward Market.
That's got to be like task one on his list, right?
Yes,
Getting a new
100%.
arena, because like Canadian Tire Center, like it's unusable where it is.
The team is almost secondary.
Yeah,
You need that building, man.
that's I think that's got to be priority number one, is securing a new building, because it's been enough time where we all know having that out in the farmland doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know?
What's the number one issue facing the Coyotes right now? Goaltending, defense. But
the arena.
no, they need a building.
Yeah. And as
Need a building.
And as the owner, if you're allowing people to do their jobs on the day-to-day hockey operations, your job should be the oversight of a giant project like that. That for him personally, I think that's got to be priority number one.
That's got to be an intimidating thing to take on.
Nah.
Don't you think?
Not when you're that
You
dude.
just spent $900 million on the team, and you're going to have to spend another $900 million on the.
Yeah, but
if you just bought,
you got $1 billion in your bank account. What do you worry about?
I hope you do.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but Jesse, you're only going to have $100 million left.
What?
Think of that stress.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Think of the stress of only having $100 million.
I'm sure he's got
If
more
you have
than
$1 billion
$1
Yeah.
and you purchase a $900 million building, you only have $100 million left.
Yep.
How are you going to feed and clothe your family?
That's how money works.
But if you build the building, you don't have the money. Well, I mean, obviously he's got more than $1 billion, but I'm just saying it's a great investment for him for the future, but that still has to be a pretty intimidating project.
I think when you get to that level where you're buying sports teams, nothing's really in terms of business side is that intimidating.
Okay.
Everything's a tax write-off.
Yeah, these are playthings for these billionaires.
Yeah, you're right.
They have their main businesses.
You're right.
Like I think about Steve Ballmer he owns the Clippers.
I
And
love
he's the
him.
Microsoft guy. He's just going to build a new arena because he wants to, because it's fun for him.
Call
you
up
know?
Doug Ford. He'll put you in touch with a guy, and all of a sudden you got a building for like a quarter of the price. There you go.
Stop it.
You hate these fucking owners.
Stop it.
Oh, that's who I hate in this scenario? Okay.
We want to tell you about ODR Hockey Heroes. This is a independent video game being kickstarted by one of the listeners to the SDP, longtime listener. It's basically every game that you loved playing growing up. The uncomplicated, amazing hockey game that you used to love, like, NHL 94, Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And you know what sucks when you sit down and play video games and you have to choose between playing hockey and saving the world? No.
Yeah.
ODR Hockey Heroes, you get to play hockey to save the world.
There's a RPG story mode in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic.
It's
Where
cool.
you save what?
The world.
The world!
And you know what the great thing is there's not a whole lot to learn. It's just a whole lot of playing. You got to shoot, you got to hit, you got to fight, you got to score, and of course, you have to selly. Steve, Jesse, and myself are actual playable characters in the game. And it does have a unique narrative-driven story mode that takes you on a Space Jam-like adventure, which is kind of perfect, right? So Wednesday, September 27th, Treewood Studios is launching a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter to raise funds for the development costs. Go to ODR Hockey Heroes, ODRHockeyHeroes.ca, and back their Kickstarter campaign this Wednesday. It's an opportunity to get a number of Kickstarter exclusive rewards, including bundles with the physical Steve Dangle Navy or ODR Hockey Heroes jerseys, and old school cheat code art book, and of course games with the original hip-hop soundtrack and more. So check it out right now, and we will link you to the Kickstarter in the video.
Do me a favor. Spell heroes, because I can never do it with that extra E.
HEROES.
Yeah.
ODR Hockey Heroes.
Okay.
It's an ES, not an apostrophe S.
Yeah, my brain can't do it.
I know you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It's one of those weird English language things. So check it out. We really
Hockey, grammar, saving the world.
We want to support this guy. This is a special game. It's a lot of fun, and not just because we're in it, because our players are not very good. Let's be honest.
But mostly because we're in it.
Absolutely. Check it out. ODRHockeyHeroes.com. .ca. Kickstarter campaign starts Wednesday. The Canucks and their fans waited 164 days between Canucks games. Between the last regular season game and this one.
I would argue they're still waiting.
And I would like you I want you to see the first tweet from Canucks Twitter recapping first period yesterday. Jesse, when you are able, bring it up on the screen.
There it is.
It just says, not the start we wanted, 4-0. The Flames would go on to score 6 more goals. The Canucks would go on to score 0 more goals. 10-0. Now, I know it's preseason.
Yeah.
But 10-0's a lot. But it's preseason.
There's nothing to be worried about.
You shouldn't be getting shit rocked like that.
No.
That's bad for everyone involved.
It's glorified practice, you guys.
Yeah, but for the other
you
team,
got
it
your
was
jersey
target
on,
practice.
though. You have a Canucks jersey on, though.
You were practice. Your jersey's in practice.
Listen, if they go on to make the playoffs this year, I'll eat it, man. But it's just, it doesn't. I feel for Canucks fans who are like, man, like,
No, but like the context is important. Yeah. Like, teams are usually very reserved in saying what their goals are for this year. Like, oh, you know, we're just hoping to ice a really good team and we want our compete level to be high. They say the very specific things they want their team to do, but they very rarely go, we're going to make the playoffs, especially if they didn't make the playoffs the year before. They say we want to contend for the playoff. I think it was Jim Rutherford dropped the P word, playoffs. And the very first time the Canucks hit the ice after he said that, they lost 10-0.
Yeah.
And I know it's a preseason game. It's just tough. Ultimately, does it matter? No. But it's, I mean, you ever heard about making a good first impression?
Well,
if you're a Canucks fan, are you pissed?
I mean, if I watch the game, I'm pissed. Because it's like, man, I just wasted my afternoon. Football was on.
So that game was in Calgary. Somewhere in those stands, there were Canucks fans.
Oh, yeah. 1,000% there were Canucks fans.
That was probably a tough day.
And they paid for that.
It was a tough day.
Like, I remember I went to a Leafs preseason game years ago. This is before I had a kid. And I remember looking at and I was like, it was $100 to go to this game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
They're not cheap. Now, I don't think they're $100 outside of Toronto, but they're still, if they're 50 or 60, that's way too much for the product you're getting.
You know how I'm your worst nightmare and I keep all my ticket stubs?
Yeah.
The first game I ever went to, February 1994, tickets were $32 each.
That's still a lot for back then.
And the nosebleeds, too. Like, we were not close.
All right, trivia. Tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs play the Ottawa Senators at Scotiabank Arena.
Oh, baby.
Preseason game number 2. 7 o'clock start, Monday night. What is the most expensive ticket at Scotiabank Arena going for on verified resale on Ticketmaster? It is section 118, row 1.
So this is not the Leafs selling it.
This is a resale.
This is a resale guy.
Yeah. First row sucks.
First row does suck.
Also,
First row is terrible.
Do it one time and then never do it again.
Yeah.
You want to be like 20, 30 rows back.
$250.
Jesse, I'm going to say $800.
$696.
Oh my God!
You are sick.
I said 800 because I thought I'm like, oh, this will be like really goofy. That's way too close.
You are not a corporation buying those.
The 669.6.
Hey, whoa.
Seems like a little bit of a bit because the second most expensive ticket is $222.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely just someone being a dick.
Yeah. Well, how bad do you need to go to that game that you're spending $700 on it?
Right. So I would say the most expensive ticket in reality is $222.
Okay.
Section 118, row 1, $700 basically. Section 108, row 8 is $222.
Yeah.
At least my $100 preseason tickets were right at the glass. They were front row.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Pretty sweet.
So it was in Rico.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, which is good. It's always fun to see a game there.
It was you guys.
Coca-Cola Coliseum where the Marlies play.
It was you guys who came with me and we sat first row behind the Oshawa Generals bench, right?
Yeah.
We moved.
And they were the only tickets available. We're like, oh, let's get those. That's great. And like, yeah, we didn't even last 5 minutes. We're like, oh, that's why.
We couldn't see over the coach.
Yeah. No, so
I was looking at the
walked
coach's
around
ass
the arena the whole time.
Yeah, we stood in the concourse, watched the game from there. Yeah,
it's
it was
not
fun.
great. It's not great. Even second row, like, so you get that little bit of elevation.
Yeah.
I did think it was relevant that, by the way, 10-0 game. Tell me what the shots were.
Was that a blowout? I'm gonna go with 35-25 for the Flames.
Jesse.
28-17.
Jesse's close on one. Both the shots were even
What?
at 26.
Damn.
Who are the goalies?
Let me look it up. The box score does not
Thatcher
tell me.
Demko.
Markstrom and Silvos.
Silovs?
Silovs?
They didn't leave him in for all 10.
Just swinging and missing on the names today.
No. He was
he's a good goalie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, he was.
He's I mean,
He's a
for some reason Latvia exclusively produces goalies who have to face 50 shots a game and stop 45 of them.
Yeah, and somehow almost beat Team Canada.
Yeah. Like it's their specialty.
I did think it was also relevant too, from the Flames' perspective, that one of the 3 players that Daryl Sutter refused to play last year because they were under the age of 25, Matt Coronado, did get a hat trick.
Yes.
And I know it's
on the
preseason.
10th goal.
Do you throw your hats for a preseason hat
Fucking
trick?
right you do.
I might keep it.
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
You got to throw your hat.
Yeah. You gotta throw your hat.
I had a tweet ready. If Stützle got a hat trick, I was going to be like, you wasted your hat on that. Yeah, just to be an asshole. Really go with the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Really go with the bit.
Okay. Well,
Dude, there was like 8 minutes left in the game or something.
I know.
It's so bad.
In case you were wondering, and I know nobody was, but the KHL, Matvei Michkov, no longer stuck in St. Petersburg, is now with Sochi. And in 4 games with Sochi, like last year, he's scoring a lot. 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points in 4 games.
It's really weird when a good player plays good.
Isn't it?
You know, who could have predicted?
Could have fooled me. It's crazy.
A guy paid to coach professional hockey scratched him more than once.
Well, yeah, he's paid, but he's not there because he's good at coaching hockey. He's there because he was a high-ranking executive and a friend of Putin.
Yeah, Adam's right in that he's not paid to coach hockey. He's paid to do Russian politics things.
And
SKA St. Petersburg wasn't like, this is the smartest person available.
Yeah, no.
It's an arm of the government.
No.
You might have a normal coach and one of the small, like Chelyabinsk might have a normal coach. But SKA is the capital. You can't, or I guess Moscow's the capital, but it's St. Petersburg. That is a political position more than it's a head coach position, you know?
Yeah, it was when I did KHL highlights, the final was Dynamo Moscow versus Tractor Chelyabinsk. And it's like, you're a narc if you're not cheering for Tractor.
Yeah.
Because they're the little guy and they lost.
The
But
Putin playing sports highlights are always fun. When you watch just guys get out of the way.
Whenever he gets the puck, they just freeze.
him falling and eating shit that one time was great.
I don't know that one.
So he was skating around waving at people and there's a red carpet and he tripped over them.
Oh no.
Yeah, and the carpet manufacturer had this really unfortunate thing with a window.
Where they fell out the window? Yeah, that's too bad.
Lol.
Man, it's crazy. They got to lock those windows in Russia.
Yeah, they really do.
Bill Foley continues to be one of the best owners in the NHL. And I love Bill Foley because he's honest, doesn't give a shit, won the cup, and also now has to deal with not working with a local broadcaster. He announced last week, and I didn't get to this last episode, but I wanted to, Knights Time Plus is for all locally broadcast Vegas games. So that's more than half, right? Because they're not going to be national. Like Leaf games, you can't do that as much with because there's maybe 20 games that aren't national. Whereas Vegas, some of those, they might play 20 national games max. So you're going to be able to download the app and watch that plus bonus content. So it's literally an app where you can watch and it's easy. Imagine that in Canada.
That's wild. How much is it?
Find out what the
Good question.
is. That is a good question.
You should make it dirt. Make it absolutely dirt cheap. Like, I know you just won a cup, but like you're still new.
Yeah.
You're still building that base.
They did not say in the press release. $6.99 for a single month or $69.99. Nice. That's because they say you're playing $1 per game. 69 games.
Oh, shit.
And the first round of the playoffs are all included. If the Knights make it, $69.99 for the entire season.
$1 a game is a great deal.
That is good shit.
That's great.
And fans must be located within the team's territory. The team's territory is huge. Ready? Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and certain counties in California, Nebraska, and Arizona
Nice.
will all have access to this.
Until you said California, I was going to say, wow, that's like 75,000 people. Sorry.
All the same. I love
What
this.
the fuck? Why are you taking what?
Why are you taking shit?
John Dutton.
They're not
And
the
who
most.
else?
They're not the most populous states for sure.
Nevada's got a lot of people.
Nevada does.
I don't know, man. Let me make jokes about sparse areas. Arthur Morgan, Dutch
Let me just take
Vanderland.
shots at our poor listeners in Wyoming.
Do we have any Wyoming listeners or North Dakota?
Hell yeah, we do.
South Dakota.
I would assume.
Is there a rivalry between North and South Dakota? Like, who's the Dakota champion?
They ever
They must.
spit over the border?
Also, the app will, unlike so many. Listen, I'm not going to call anybody out here, but those who know. There were certain streaming apps. We have 2 sports networks in Canada. One of them got it right. They were on
Adam, I don't work there anymore.
every single thing. It wasn't them.
Oh,
It was the other one.
well then, there you go. I don't work there anymore either.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire, iOS, and Roku. Night's Time will be available across all of them. Okay, I'll just say it. TSN, you could not get TSN on Amazon until like last season. It's like,
Amazon.
like I have a Fire TV stick, so
Oh.
I just run it off of that. You couldn't get it.
Yeah, but Adam, get a new TV.
No, I just stream it.
The apps are built into the
No,
TVs
I will.
now.
I will continue to have my cheap television and use my Fire Stick. Okay, it's a
talking
Fire
about?
Stick 4K, and I don't even have a 4K TV. All right. But all the same, listen. I desperately want for all games to be available on one app.
Make it fucking easy.
And here's the thing: make it easy, and we will pay the fee. And all you have to do, if you've got TSN or Sportsnet running it, is just pick up their feed.
Wow. Imagine. Just like if there is a game on, I want to be able to easily find it.
Yeah. Oh, man. American listeners are like, you guys have no idea. Apparently, it's really tough to watch in the States. Like because you had the regional, and then you had TNT, and then you had ESPN Plus.
Mhm.
And then finding them sometimes even on ESPN Plus is really hard.
Yeah, isn't every
located.
NHL game in the States supposed to be on ESPN Plus? Like if you're in the States, you can just get
Yes,
that
but then there'd be localized blackouts, for the regional
in the
network.
no, that's
I think
brutal.
so. I was
Yeah.
talking to Shayna Goldman in DMs about it last year. She messaged me and she was like, it's hell.
When, like, okay, it's 2023.
Mhm.
When's the year that's no longer a thing?
If the NHL's smart in Canada, find a streamer the next time the rights come available and just give it all to them. But
Yeah.
the NHL likes multiple packages because ultimately you make more money. The reason that ESPN didn't get all the games like Sportsnet did, or all the national games, that is because they learned their lesson from Sportsnet. You don't want to give all the national games to one broadcaster, because what it means is when that broadcaster can't make the money they thought they were going to make on it, it degrades the product. And because they'll start spending on it. So what they did was they said, okay, we're going to divide the national games up, and then we're going to have a third package that's regional only. And that's where you're going to get your Diamond Sports Group or whatever, Bally. And that's who's going to take those games. And the NHL, in theory, would make more money that way. But if you look at what's happened with the MLS and that messy season ticket and whatever, it's worked out really, really well. So if you want to win, like to me, if you're a Netflix or you're an Apple or you're Amazon and you just want to win Canada, buy the hockey rights.
Or Google as well. 'Cause
Google.
They got into the NFL game this year. And apparently, people have been loving YouTube TV. I think it's called.
Yes.
Where they have the Red Zone now, and in the States. Well, it's not Red Zone, just all the NFL games. But like that's the ideal road for any of these big professional sports leagues. Like I wish they would sell their broadcast packages as they sell it now. But in all of those deals, you have the clause where we sell one giant package with every single game to one of these online media companies, one of the streamers. Let's say it's Amazon. Amazon gets their own NHL thing where on the Amazon app is every single game, and it's outside of all of their other broadcast deals. That'd be the coolest way to have
That'd
it.
be
So
amazing.
anybody who's doesn't want to do the technology side, any of the older folks who don't want to download, subscribe to Prime or whatever, they have the option of all the other TV stations and all the blackouts and everything. But there's a tier where if you just want to give them your money, you get everything.
People aren't
That'd be
cheap.
cool.
People aren't cheap. They're frustrated.
Yeah.
Just like make it so I can I can press a button and watch them.
So for $80 a year, I can watch everything that happens in Formula One commercial free.
Yeah. I have the F1 app too, and it's the greatest thing in
Great.
the world.
You can watch it on demand. So like TSN will break to commercial 4 or 5 times throughout a race. And the race is still going. They don't stop. In England, they don't do that with Sky Sports, right? They just rate. So I just was like, okay, well then I'll just buy the F1 subscription and I watch it.
I've had it for like 2 years. I know now, and I forgot about that. I forgot that TSN breaks away in the middle of races.
And they'll be in the middle of a pass. Like, oh my goodness, it's looking really close for Alonso here, and it's Have you tried blah 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 blah?
Yeah.
Like,
here's a cartoon bear wiping its ass on a tree.
Yeah.
What's the Ricardo commercial they always play? The Carlsberg beer or something?
Yeah, where he is AI. He has his face AI'd onto his body, and then Ricardo lost his seat in F1. He has it again, and so they took Ricardo's body and put Sergio Perez's AI face on it, and he's like scooting away from a bar drinking 0% Heineken, and you're like, okay, that's obvious.
They would air that 800 times during every race, and it'd be so frustrating.
Listen, I'm not asking for hockey to be commercial free.
No,
I'm not. I'm just saying it could be a lot easier if we could just find one place where I could at least know where the game was. Just show me where it. I don't have to think.
That F1 app's the gold standard. Now that I think about it. There's a option, Steve, on when you're watching the broadcast. There's a little globe button or there's a little other button, and you can switch broadcasts. So if you want to watch the international feed or the Sky Sports feed, you can just switch it on the fucking game while you're watching it. It's amazing. And then all of the post game and pre-game stuff is right there too, and it's within the same app. And if I usually start races a little late, if I'm not free at 9 a.m. on a Sunday or whatever, and you can just start the race whenever you want. Like, you don't have to watch it live. It's all there to go back and forth. You can stop and pause and rewind. It's awesome, and it's how all sports should be at this point.
We're gonna figure it out.
Fantastic.
Here's the crazy thing: it works too.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a time.
It doesn't freeze when you.
There's no buffering.
No buffering issues. Never.
No.
Never.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, that's never been an issue.
So when they tell me, because I watch my hockey games, I don't have cable, so I watch them on the Sportsnet and the TSN app. I subscribe to both. It's a write-off for me, and that's what I do. It's an outrageous amount of money. It like
comes
$80.
with your season tickets as well.
With my season tickets. And it's outrageous how much money those guys are charging for that product. But the fact is that certain times you'll log on, and like if I was watching you streaming the game or whatever, the playoffs, first off, my feed is 30 seconds behind you on YouTube, and you are 7 or 8 seconds behind the actual broadcast feed on cable. So I'm almost a minute behind play, which means on Twitter, I know when the goals go in a minute before it happens on my fucking screen.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
There's a lot I don't understand.
It's just listen. So this is why when they say, we have app issues or we have this or we have that, I'm like, I don't believe you. I think it's just you were not prepared for it, because I know other sports can do this. I watch
the
other
issue
sports.
is we weren't ready.
100%. That's what it is.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
They're not wrong.
Yeah, I guess not. I wanted to do this too, because it is overreaction season. And guys, I want to rate this on a scale of like a 1 is don't even worry about it, who cares, it's preseason, to 10, which is you're this year's Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
So it's either Ducks or you're okay.
Or fantasy football is Adam Wild.
Oh yeah, fantasy football is Adam Wild.
Yeah.
I asked people what they are the most anxious about. Okay. So from an Ottawa Senators fan, Josh Norris in a non-contact jersey.
Yeah. I mean, if that was your biggest problem last year, I mean, goaltending would probably be up there, or the health of the goaltenders. If Josh Norris being injured was your biggest problem last year, and he's in a non-contact jersey right now, it's a problem.
Is Tarasenko's success based on how? Because who's playing center if Norris isn't healthy?
Just throw Shane Pinto in there. I'm serious though. He would probably be one of the candidates you would throw in there, but he's not friggin' signed.
A lot of people said this, guys. So on that scale, what do you give it out of 10? Your concern scale.
5.
Jesse, what do you say? Josh Norris, non-contact jersey.
I'm not worried.
You're not worried?
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm at I don't know, what's the scale? Out of what?
Just say worried or not worried.
Not worried.
You're not worried. Okay.
Okay, I would say worried. Jesse, who do the Sens have penciled in there?
On daily face-off, they have Josh Norris on the second line.
Yeah, and who's underneath him?
The Pinto.
Shane Pinto.
Oh, look at that.
I want Mark Kostelic to be feeding Vlad Tarasenko and Drake Batherson.
Kastelik. How dare you?
Or if it's the actual, it's Kastelich. And anytime you see an IC, it's an itch.
Oh.
That's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Kastelich.
So like Sakic, supposed to be Sakic. That's originally how they would have.
You know how
Just
much
throwing that out
footage
there.
we're going to have to go back and edit?
I know. It's crazy.
We're calling them the wrong.
How about this one from Leaf fans? Sam Lafferty in the top 6. You worried?
Not worried.
You're not worried. Why?
Because they can fix it whenever they want by just making Nylander a winger again.
Does that not create another problem at center on the third line?
Yeah.
Jesse, worried or not worried?
Not worried. I don't know if the Nylander center thing's gonna play out. We'll see how it goes.
I heard they were talking about on the broadcast, like he'll do it during the regular season, but not the playoffs. I'm like, then what the fuck?
What
I was like, what are we
doing?
doing? Also, if you're spreading out the lines like that, we can't be as worried about the winger situation because you have such a dynamic 1-2-3. You know, if it works out, then we should be less concerned about the who's on what's considered top 6 and what's bottom 6.
Maybe the theory is at the trade deadline we'd rather add a winger than a center because it's cheaper.
yeah,
I don't
like
know.
that's why it's like a not worried situation.
Also, the Leafs like farm system, like the guys who are fighting for a spot on the team are wingers. They don't have a center who's ready to make this jump. And if they do, it's Pontus Holmberg, who's not ready to be in the top 6.
Yeah.
So, you know, you look at a Nyes, you look at a Robertson, you look at even an Alex Steves. I don't know if they have a center as good as Alex Steves is as a winger in the system, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying is so true because Sheldon Keefe, he said that this was Brad Treliving's idea. And I think when Tree got there, he took a look at the organization and the lineup. He said, you know what? The place we're thinnest is center. And if we want to develop a center, why don't we try Nylander? It's tried in the past. He came in the league as a center. Let's give it a shot here. And that's the best way to go if they're trying to fill that hole right now. And I don't know if it's going to work based on how it's just been trending, but we'll see.
The Leafs are not done.
Good attempt.
So much of this is Sheldon Keefe's job, though. Like, you have 3 lines, one with Matthews, one with Tavares, one with Nylander.
Now.
There are, right now. You have the talent on the wing to spread it out a bit. I mean, if Nylander really sucks and, like, you can't shelter him from those moments where it's going to get a little hairy, come on now. That's on the coach.
I don't know. There's a lot of talk in the market on the traditional medias about, hey, Nylander's not a 200-foot player, so why are we trying him at this 200-foot position? So I don't know if that falls on Sheldon Keefe. If those guys end up being right about that,
people adapt.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one. This came up a lot from Bruins fans, but I'll read Jake's one. Jake said mostly the holes at C1 and C2. Remembering that Coyle had a hard time filling C2 when Krejci left, the natural regression from an all-time season like they had last year. Like, so, you know, the Bruins do have some pretty big holes at center. How worried are you about that for them? Try to take your Leaf fandom out of it too, by the way.
Yeah, worried, but
Like,
not as worried as you'd think.
You got Zacha, Coyle, Morgan Geekie, and Jesper Boquist.
Yeah, worried, but not as worried as you might think. All these guys are top 6 players throughout their career until they get to the NHL. And then they got to adapt to the role of being a depth guy. I think Pavel Zacha in a top 6 role might actually work better than you think. That's all.
Okay.
I'm a little worried.
I mean, listen, you're going from Bergeron and Krejci to 2 guys who haven't even won the jobs technically. So, yeah, but like, what, you knew this. You've known this for quite some time. So, like, you can't look at it and go, whoa. You're taking a step back, man. You know you are.
Ben, who is a Blues fan, said, the Blues have 9 defensemen signed to one-way contracts. Players that I all like individually, but not ones that mesh together or fit what we need. I wonder if there's a trade to be there with the Leafs and the Blues, because the Leafs defense is weird looking right now.
Dubas is in Pittsburgh now, so the Leafs can't trade with the Blues anymore.
No, I'm sure.
Dude, I bet one of those guys ends up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, probably.
Dubas loves dealing with, is it Doug Armstrong?
Mhm.
Or Bill? Doug. It's Doug. Doug Armstrong. I think,
Bill looks like Ken. He looks like a human Ken. Bill Armstrong in Arizona. He's tall and handsome. Hair is adds 3 inches to his body.
Brunette Johnny Bravo.
Yes, 1,000%.
This is the decor in St. Louis. Justin Falk for $6.5 million. Torrey Krug for $6.5 million. Colton Parayko for $6.5 million.
No one
All
takes more
signed-
than 6.5.
All signs for at least 3 years as well.
Yeah, all of those are
Parayko for 6.
all of those are $4+ million years. Not even 3, 4+ years. Nick Leddy, $4 million for 3
I
years.
like Nick Leddy a lot.
Scandella for 3.275 expiring. Bertuzzo, $950. Tyler Tucker, $800, and Callie Rosen, $762.
Future
That's a
Penn,
two-way.
Callie Rosen.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a lot of money to a lot of guys.
Well, it's okay, Jesse. Here, you tell me if I have the wrong idea. Let's just trade Justin Falk.
No, you probably can't do that.
Why?
No trade clause.
Oh, okay. Let's just trade Torrey Krug.
Can't really do that. No trade clause, long-term contract.
Oh, okay. Let's trade Colton Parayko.
Can't do that. No trade clause, long-term contract.
He's a respected veteran, but let's trade Nick Leddy.
Can't really do that. 3-year contract, no trade clause.
It hurts because he's an even older respected veteran, but let's trade Marco Scandella.
Modified no trade clause. Maybe you can do that.
Oh, well, there's the answer.
Now,
Holy shit,
people
that's
waive
bad.
no trade clauses all the time.
Every
Definitely.
name we just mentioned, by the way, is over 30.
Yep. On their defense, they have 2 guys who are under the age of 30 years old, and that's Tyler Tucker and Callie Rosen.
Callie Rosen, who's 29.
Yeah. They have an old decor.
Shit, I didn't know Jordan Binnington was 30.
Yeah, because he came in the league a little late.
Yeah, I didn't know
Wow.
that either, but I watched him at the Memorial Cup, and that was in 2011.
He's got 4 more years at $6 million.
Maroon.
That's an interesting one. I didn't realize that about St. Louis's blue line. That will be one to watch. I'm sure one of those guys moves this year. They got to figure it out.
They have a D on PTO. That's hilarious.
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Who is that? Andy Walensky?
Andy Walensky.
I don't know who that
Who is
30.
30.
Add some youth.
They love their 30-year-old defense.
How many 30-year-olds are there? Oh man, the forward's a little bit younger.
Yeah, forward group is a little younger, and Jordan Cairo and Robert Thomas are going to be studs for a long time.
I
but
still think they're gonna. I liked what he was doing. Like he was after Timo Meyer at the trade deadline last year,
They're
which
not
is
a bad
crazy.
team.
Yeah, that's why I think. They claimed Kasperi Kapanen.
Yeah, you didn't remember that?
I
Mhm.
forgot about that.
waivers claim.
Man, is that the last year of his contract that he signed in Toronto? The 3.2.
No. So he signed in Pittsburgh for basically the same amount of money.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow,
then
3.2
did not
has not gone
reward
well.
the by playing good.
Um,
They said, hey, we're getting ready to get Kyle Dubas. We got to get rid of Kapanen right away because there's no tampering.
from Tom, the defense and goaltending for the Hawks is awful. Tom is
it's
not.
Terrible.
Doesn't matter though, because Connor Bedard. He said it scares me more than Flames fans watching Markstrom playing the puck.
Who are their goalies again? Mrazek and the guy who's going to be playing a lot.
Yeah, because
Mrazek
Mrazek will be injured. It'll
is
be
bad
groin.
or hurt.
He'll pull a groin.
Dude,
What do you think about that? Should they be worried? Does it matter?
no.
You probably want to be bad again to get somebody to play with Bedard.
Yes. No, the best thing a rebuilding team can do if you are not ready to try and win yet is get a bad goalie situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for $1 million, can you tell me who the backup goaltender in Chicago is?
No.
10 million.
Someone on waivers. Like, surely they're going to claim someone off waivers.
$10 million.
Okay. Is it someone who they signed this summer?
Yes.
It is?
Yes. They were acquired through a signing. Oh, let me check if it was this summer. I just checked those. They acquired him through a signing. It was this summer, or on May 10th, actually.
What?
Wow. What?
Kyle Davidson signed this player on May 10th. That was to extend their deal, because he was a RFA. So
No, Colin Delia is in Vancouver now.
I don't
Or he
know.
was.
this is an undrafted goaltender. I'm taking $10 million off the table, and now it's $900,000. From Sweden, 24 years old, catches left, 6'3",
Catch is the most common way.
180 pounds, undrafted. Signed his first deal at the age of 22 on May 17th, 2021, and then re-upped with Chicago on May 10th. Do you want more details?
Carl Soderstrom.
Almost!
I just said the most Swedish name I could think of. I made it up. Oh my God!
His name is Arvid Soderblom.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
I made a name up and I almost got it.
Well done. Well done,
That's
Steve.
funny.
That's great.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
That's not a real person. It might actually be.
Oh, it is.
It's probably a guy out there.
I almost said Soderstrom.
Carl, you said?
I said Carl's, and I thought about saying Soderblom. That's hilarious.
Arvid Soderblom. Wow.
Anyways.
Who is that human
Got
being?
another one.
Okay.
This is from Whale of a Time on Twitter. I'm deeply concerned by the amount of adult men in their late 20s who apparently have grown a full inch over the summer.
Oh,
What?
this is, yeah. So every year, I want to say it's Kyle Cushman or David Alter or maybe both. They point out, because they release the heights and weights of Leaf players at training camp. And every year they weigh a different number, which is believable, but they
You
are
probably
also a different height, which is just not. It's just, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong now or you were wrong last year, but either way, you're wrong. The 25-year-old did not grow an inch over the summer.
No.
It's just,
It's about how they measure them. Some years they'll measure them in shoes. Some years it'll be barefoot, and it'll just, whoever's running the measuring tape needs to get consistent.
Yeah, this guy's down 15 pounds. Like, it might just be like he took a bigger dump this morning than he did last year. Like, before getting weighed. Like, it's silly. It's very silly goosery.
Did you guys read the story? And I'm going to move on from the anxiety report, but I think I'll revisit that because that was really fun to read.
That was fun.
Did you read that?
Anxiety report?
Yeah, I'm going to call it the anxiety report. Rasmus Ristolainen could not get proper training this summer as he had to go into the Army. According to John Tortorella, he was in the Army for 8 weeks.
Wow.
I'm willing to bet he got some training in.
Oh, I think he got physical training.
Yeah, it just probably wasn't on the ice.
The other one I thought was interesting was Evgeny Kuznetsov, who has had a rough relationship with the Caps for a while. He said this about the organization. It feels like in this organization, those who want to be here are kicked out, and those who don't want to be here are left behind. He requested a trade this summer, didn't get it. This is a guy who's there's been stuff with Kuzi, but he's a great hockey player.
He's an incredible hockey player. He makes too much money. And it's a shame because I feel like the Caps have, unless I'm missing something, they've largely done right by him. You know? So seeing this situation get fractured, like I mentioned Tractor Chalabinsk going to the KHL final. Kuzi was with them. And he was like a big star for that team. Like, he doesn't come from like wealth. You hear very often like, oh, this guy is the son of this player who was the son of this player. Like, we're now entering the third generation of NHL superstars. It's a little bit like wrestling now, with The Rock and his dad before him and everything like that. And he made it, and he couldn't have made it even better, and it's kind of falling apart. It's actually, like, it's sad for me to see as someone who's kind of watched the story from the beginning.
Right.
You know? I mean, he still got the bag. He still got the ring. So maybe we shouldn't feel that bad for him, but
I don't feel bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him, but like, this is very obviously a situation in Washington that needs to change, because that's a team that is,
they're in flux. I can understand
they're
why
in mid.
they don't want. Yeah, that's what I mean. Right?
Yeah,
like they're just. It's like they got to make a call one way or the other. You trade Kuznetsov, you're not going to get.
Who the hell's
you're
taking Evgeny Kuznetsov?
Well,
right.
and that money.
Yeah,
but his problem was with Laviolette. right? Like,
Yes.
Well,
The
and a lot
reason-
of players have a problem with Laviolette.
yeah, and the reason he's doing this now is because Laviolette's not there anymore. Spencer Carby is in there. I think and he's probably feeling a lot better about the team now that he has a new head coach who isn't playing in a style that he doesn't want to play.
He would know a lot of the players in the system because before he was in Toronto, he was in Hershey,
There you go.
Washington's farm team.
So I feel like there's an opportunity. Like, I feel like he's being open and honest about this right now because he knows the guy who he hated is out.
Which is what basically all European players do the moment they're in front of a reporter from their own country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an annual tradition. It usually happens earlier than this.
Yeah, it's weird that it's coming out now.
Yeah,
There have been some spicy comments from camp. This and Stamkos, and it's been good.
a lot of unhappy players.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And you know what, though? Movement's been a bit, I mean, there have been some good trades and that sort of thing, but movement's been stifled over the last 3-4 years, right?
it's true.
And, flat cap and COVID and all the other things. I think there are a lot of players that would like to move on. Here's the other thing. I think you're going to start to see the shorter term deals come fast and furious. These 8-year contracts that these guys are signing, good for them, but they are leaving money on the table. And also, what if you just get tired of each other? It's like, what do you mean I got 5 more years left with these fucking bums? I don't think so.
Also, like, yeah, okay, the cap's going up, but you're like, if you can't pull off what the Devils pulled off, and yes, the Sens with Tim Stützle, like at some point you got to go, fuck it, that's a few years from now's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Here, and you give them something to get them there.
How would you describe, gentlemen, Florida's politics?
Chaotic.
Okay, but you would
Sir,
say
That's a good
that
word.
how likely is the government to fund things?
I would say very.
Unlikely.
I would say
Oh.
no, very likely.
Well, you mean social programs, things like that.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant arenas.
You're asking a very specific question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, social programs, go fuck yourself.
So-
But if you play professional sports, yeah.
Have you heard about what's going on in Jacksonville?
I have not.
So Shahid Khan, who owns the Jaguars, he is valued at $12 billion. The Jags themselves are apparently valued at $3.4 billion. The Jacksonville Jaguars have said that they need a new place to play. It will have to be a domed stadium because of the rain in Florida, obviously, and also the heat. He said that they will need $1 billion in tax funding to make this place. So they're not going to do it. And they've said, do you like football, Jacksonville fans? Well, great. We're going to need $1 billion or we're leaving.
Then leave. Dude, that's
$1 billion. Sorry, I said it would cost $1 billion to make it. No, that's just what they're asking for from the city. $1 billion.
from the city.
Well, yeah, and probably it'd
Jacksonville,
probably
not
be
the
city,
state.
probably city and state together. You would think
You would have to.
And
have to.
Steve, you know Shahid Khan. His son is Tony Khan, who
No way!
the Khan family owns AEW,
And Tony Khan runs AEW.
and his son
What?
runs it. Yeah,
Oh, I did actually sort of know that.
yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah. And so his dad owns the Jaguars and AEW.
Oh, you just fired CM Punk though. That freed up a bunch of money. Go pay for your own damn building.
Yeah.
What the-
No, this is a person who could very much build a football stadium.
Oh, yeah.
there's money's not a problem here.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. It's so pathetic.
They rarely make the playoffs, although they have the last 3 or 4 years. But yeah, it's not. It's looking like they might go. Now, I want to tell you this one last story. If we do a press conference, it just has to wait for this one. Have you heard about this crazy Canadian soccer story? It happened a couple weeks ago.
I don't think so.
A CF Montreal player from the Canadian Premier League
Okay.
had his contract terminated. Do you know why?
No.
CF Montreal attacking midfielder Matko Milovic violated his Major League Soccer contract by not only playing in a Quebec amateur soccer league, but he was also banned indefinitely from that league for reportedly punching an opponent in the face. In order to sign up for the league, he had to sign up under a fake name.
So wait, this professional
Soccer player.
professional soccer player, force of habit,
Yeah.
signed up to play amateur soccer, and then when he did it with a fake name and punched a guy in a game.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. And that's an MLS player, not a. Why did I say Canadian Premier League? I meant MLS.
Oh, okay. I was like,
So is it an MLS
when you said
player?
Major League Soccer, I'm like, wait a second.
No. This is an MLS player.
So that's a lot more money than the Canadian Premier League.
And he went and played in a Quebec league and punched a guy in the face. And you can't play in another league when you're under contract in the MLS.
What are you doing? Oh, like forget playing in another league. Like I've heard of hockey players like being banned from like skateboarding. Like
what was the
longboarding?
Bronson Arroyo, I think, was he was in a band and the Red Sox banned him from playing any more shows until the playoffs. I remember that.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I remember him. He was a good player, but like I guess he'd had too many late nights and they were like concerned about him.
Fair enough.
So
I got it.
But never
Did anybody ask him why? What's the background?
The love of music. Oh, the
this soccer thing.
He's earning more than $500,000 a year, or was.
And he had it torn up.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Why did he go play in this other league to punch someone? Was it specifically just did he have is that guy his enemy?
No, it was just a guy. He got heated in a game. He signed up under the name Nicholas Sotelo. Basically, Quebec officials quickly found out who he was, and he was told to use his real alias if he wished to keep playing. He chose not to do so, and perhaps that was the only wise decision he made, as MLS rules state a player cannot engage without the consent of his team in sports or activities that contribute substantial danger to their health and safety, right? So no skateboarding. I guess he was at a game for his friend's team, and it is alleged his friend allegedly spat on an opposition player, and then after being insulted, he allegedly hit the opponent in the face, and then he was ejected from the facility, so he wasn't even playing.
Oh, dude.
I don't know.
Isn't this a wonky story?
Oh, no. Oh,
crazy
dude.
story. I've been meaning to get to this for a couple.
Wait, so he wasn't in the league?
I know he was playing in the league. He just wasn't playing at that game.
This sounds like quite the bag fumble. That's fucking tough.
$500,000 a year.
Just ripped up.
Gone.
And now where are you going to go?
Well, there's a
assume
million soccer leagues in the world. You can go somewhere.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but like I assume you can't continue to play in MLS.
No, they said you're out. Tore up his deal.
And-
I mean, what other MLS team is going to sign you?
Oh, well, and like I assume he's in the MLS because they offered him $500,000.
Yeah.
And he wasn't getting that anywhere else. Oh dear.
It's rough.
Oh shit.
That's rough. Anyway,
Yeah, that's really bad.
kind of thing you only see in soccer. You do not see that in other sports. Like you don't see a hockey player signing up under an alias playing elsewhere. Unless like a gag.
Not well, an alias, yeah, but like Ryan Smith played in a senior league and he got tuned
Really?
after retiring. He got like there's footage of it. He got completely knocked unconscious by a player. Oh yeah.
There was a Swedish show that put Peter Forsberg into a men's league game.
Yeah.
And he had a full mask on, and
Yeah.
he just gets out there and just walks everybody. And then you see some of the players are like,
yeah.
he's familiar. Like, is that Peter Forsberg? And it was like a comedy show in Sweden. Very funny.
Is that Boulder on skates?
Yeah.
He was a Boulder on skates. Yeah, and he started playing bad, and then he started figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's harder to hide in hockey. Like,
Yes.
I like those videos where like Kyrie Irving's dressed up like an old man and he goes out to a basketball.
Yeah.
game. But like, you know, it's easy to pretend to be bad at hockey, but then to gradually get better. Like, he learned how to do backward crossovers really quickly, and like,
It's pretty complicated stuff, right?
yeah, it's a little more difficult than just running around.
Jesse?
There's a video of Aaron Rodgers who he's working at a Starbucks, and then
Okay.
this girl comes up to him and she's like, "You look like Aaron Rodgers." And
Yeah.
he's like, "No, it's not me." And it's he's not in a disguise. He's just pretending that it's not him. And she's like, Aaron Rodgers is he's really hot. And he's like, I don't think so. That guy. And it's really good.
Yeah, for sure not an actor. Here, I'm looking up Aaron Rodgers' size. Like, okay, 1.88 meters. Thanks for that, friggin' Wikipedia. Gosh darn it. 6'2", 223 pounds.
You'd know.
He'd be one of the biggest baristas I've ever seen. He
So
is the
you're
size of Aaron Rodgers and also has his face.
you're not buying the video?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Who
thought it was-
Who would go to a barista and go, hey, you look like this person, and also I find that person hot? Sorry, red flag. Red flag. What are you doing harassing the baristas, you weirdo?
Thought it was
Just trying to do their job.
I thought it was a funny video.
Should we?
Fucking no,
It was a
no,
funny
it
video.
wasn't.
I don't know.
Can I get your opinion on Usher doing Super Bowl, guys?
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. There seemed to be like a backlash to it, though.
I don't know if there was.
There was. There were people
By
like,
who?
why him?
On your timeline?
Yeah, on my timeline.
Who are
People
you
were like,
following?
why Usher?
Yes.
Because like they
Here,
had to put like Kendrick Lamar and Eminem and 50 Cent and all, Mary J. Blige all had to be in one group, and then like Jennifer Lopez and Shakira had to team up because neither were big enough, and then Usher on his own. That's what people are saying.
Usher, again, we're old. We're old. So the artists that were huge when we were kids are now getting to do the Super Bowl because we're old.
Yeah.
And Usher was the biggest artist in the world for like
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, parts of 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
parts of half a decade. Confessions, man. Confessions. Big album.
Okay. Jesse, you're down?
We're old.
Yeah. I don't
Also, he's
Big
really
deal.
good live. I've seen him. He's amazing.
He's doing a Vegas residency, isn't he?
Oh, is he? Oh, makes a lot of sense
Oh.
then.
I believe.
Okay.
Oh man,
Yeah. The Adele one's apparently amazing.
our childhood acts
got a
are doing
residency there.
Vegas residencies.
I know that's where it's at.
and the Super Bowl.
We should
Where we're
we should try and get tickets when we're down there for the draft next year.
Ooh, to Adele?
I don't know.
It'll still be on?
Hopefully she's still doing it. They're probably sold out.
I've heard she's amazing live, but I do feel like my expectations of a concert, I like high energy stuff. So I would find that that'd be a lot of sitting for me.
If it's not Van Halen,
That's
I'm
right.
not going.
Give me
Adam
some Iron
Wild.
Maiden, let's go. Where's the guitar solo, Adele?
I just want to have a conversation with Adele.
You do? She seems like a riot.
My wife's been to a Adele concert, and apparently between songs, she just like talks to the crowd,
Yeah,
almost like an open mic.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Jan Arden's like that.
She seems chill.
Yeah,
Jan Arden seems chill.
Jan Arden's chill as hell.
I would-
It's awesome.
I would have an edible with Jan Arden.
Yeah, for sure.
Gaga's got a residency too.
I would see that. She's good.
The second time Gaga's been brought up on the show today. It's kind of random.
I would be a little monster for the night. I would do
There you
it.
go.
Ew.
That's her
Don't
favorite.
say that. To
I don't.
me.
I feel
I would be a
like.
little monster.
I feel like
for
a
the
lot of people just got really uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't think about that before I said it. Like most things. Anyway, do we want to do a press conference?
I'll hit the button.
Are you gonna hit the button?
Got a live
you
show on
little-
Friday.
Tell me about your little monster, Steve.
Fucking absolutely not.
We got a live show Friday, guys. Friday.
We do.
Link is in the description. There are tickets available.
Not
Can't
many.
wait.
Not many.
Not many. Can't wait to see you there, you little monsters.
Ew.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection.